When were you born?
I was born October 15th, 1973.
73.
Yep, coming up.
Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Corona Del Mar, California, which is down in Orange County in Southern California. And then I kind of also grew up in a little town called Phillipsburg, Montana, in the Rockies. So I kind of spent a lot of time in both places. Yeah.
Awesome. Is your family still in California?
Some of my family's in California, Matt, and then a lot of my family, about half, is born and raised and still in Montana. Yeah.
So it's kind of an even split.
Yeah, we're nuts. We're Californians and Montanans. It's kind of a weird combo.
Why did you move out of California to Montana originally?
My sleepy little beach town that I grew up in got really populated really fast. I went from being Corona Del Mar to being part of the OC. And then there was traffic, and all of a sudden things were expensive, and so and I wanted to be a teacher, and so it just kind of made sense to go somewhere that I could afford to live, and also was a place with some of the more open terrain. Nothing against cities, I like big cities. I just would rather visit them and not live in them. And so being up in places like Chico or being in places like Montana let me kind of have that mix of being around people and having that fun, but also getting to fishing and hiking trails and all that good stuff that I like, yeah.
What did you originally want to pursue as a career?
I wanted to be a film director and a screenwriter. And I wrote my first Oscar acceptance speech when I was around 12 years old, and it was a terrible speech. But I always had a passion for film. I'd like to, when I grow up someday, I'd like to return to screenwriting and hopefully do a little directing. But that was my big thing, and that was my original goal, was to get into film and hopefully be a screenwriter and a director. Yeah.
Do you major in anything other than teaching?
I was a film major. My first semester at UC Santa Barbara, I was a film major, and that was what I was going to come out with. And then I started doing some thoughts about reality, and started looking at some of the figures of how hard it was to become a successful screenwriter or director, and I started getting nervous about practicality. And so I switched to English eventually because it was a chance to be around stories. But it was also a chance to have some money coming in, that it was steady. But it was also a way, hopefully, to get some writing done. And now that's kind of the joke I tell myself, is I'm doing a lot of writing. But yeah, I was originally a film major. Yeah.
As an English teacher, what book do you feel is most influential among your students?
That's like asking me what I think their favorite ice cream is. That's hard. I'd say last semester, I really saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as a really important book, because it really just kind of based on questioning authority. And I think students should question authority. I think students should question me, and like, why are they doing what they're doing in my class? And I should have a good answer. And if I can't give them one, I should go say, hey, I need some time to give you a better answer to that question. So I think for me, like, it was my first time teaching that book, and I love a bunch of different books, and I could tell you a bunch of different reasons why I think they're worth the students' time. But lately, if I had to pick my most recent ice cream, that would be a really good example of something I thought was really impactful on my students in a positive way. Yeah.
You talked a lot about your ranch back in Montana. What do you miss most about that?
The kind of work you do there that is not mental work. I mean, it takes thinking, and you have to do problem solving, but getting to work with my hands and getting away from screens. And I love all our technology, love my screen time, but when I get there, it's like you can really see what you did at the end of the day that's not on the screen, and you have that sense of accomplishment that, like, hey, I did that. I'm body tired, not just brain tired. I sleep really deep there. Food tastes better. You just feel like you put in a full body day, and you can see what you did at the end of the day. Yeah.
You were a wolf tracker at one point. What was your favorite part about that job?
The wildness of it, just the risk of it and the wildness of it. I was scared a lot, but to be able to, like, for example, be on the side of a mountain on pre-dawn and have morning vapor trails kind of whipping through trees and mist in your forearms, and then you hear a deep howl of a wolf, and you're on its tail trying to track it down and maybe get it tranquilized and get some data from it and help the state of Montana and the federal government track wolves. It was just really exciting. It was super exciting, and I felt really plugged into nature. Yeah.
When did you decide to move out of California the first time?
The first time, So just TMI, I got divorced, and I was like, I'm blowing this place. I'm getting out of here for a while. I needed to go. I was living at the time in Monterey County, beautiful place, but I was just ready for a change, and honestly, ready for some of that work we just talked about. One thing I like about Montana is getting out of my head, and it was a good time to get out of my head. So I was teaching online. I was lucky, and the college I was teaching for at the time said, we want you back, but we could see that you could use some time. Please come back. And they gave me a full course load online, so I could teach by day online and in a little lodge in Montana, and then go chase wolves at night and do ranch work wherever I could fit it in. And so it was just kind of that was kind of the personal though, fork in the road of the marriage ending was kind of a thing that really pushed me, honestly. And then it became this neat little 3-year time when I was gone. Yeah.
Do you ever plan on moving back to Montana?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I love NorCal. I love Chico. My best friends are here. Got kind of a second family here in Chico. Rivers I love to fish are here. It's a really good little town. It's close to a lot of things I love to do. I love the city. I love going into either Sac or San Fran. And so I'm happy here. And might have a dual retirement kind of deal where maybe I'm in the North State and also in Montana, but definitely kind of plan on having at least part of my retirement hub being hubbing out of southwestern Montana for sure.
When and where would you like to retire?
Probably Montana, and hopefully sooner than later. At least maybe 6 to 8 months out of the year, be in southwest Montana, and I think I'm supposed to get to about 62 to have my magic number of a certain kind of retirement, but I don't know if I'm going to make it that far. I'm getting a little tired of grading papers, and love my students, and you guys are all very energizing. It's great to be around high school students. It's such a fun time. That's my favorite part of the job, and that makes me stay young. But at the same time, I've been doing this my 19th year, and I'm hoping maybe 10 to 15 years more tops. It'd be great if it was 10.
You were a college professor at one point. What college were you a professor at?
The last one I was at Orange Coast College for 9 years. And then before I got full-time, what's real typical for professors is most campuses are run about 90% part-time faculty. So you're a part-time professor, so you have to kind of get the equivalent of full-time on more than one campus. So Orange Coast College was my last stop and the place I was a full-time professor, but for a while I had to be like on Orange Coast College campus and Irvine Valley college campuses, and they were close enough to each other that I could kind of work it together. But Orange Coast College was my last big long stay and where I was a full-time professor. It was a great little place in Southern California, down there in Costa Mesa of Orange County, California, yeah.
What was the best and worst part of that job?
Best part was like conversations that you can have immediately, because kids get good teachers in high school for the most part, and they're coming in kind of ready to go. So stuff that you have to kind of build towards in high school, you can just like, when you open the door on the first day, you can start having those conversations. The maturity level that you're allowed to have, not that you guys in high school aren't ready for it, more like what's legally acceptable as like content, you can go there quicker in college. And so that usually engages students faster because they've been kind of waiting to have those conversations that high school teachers are understandably by law, kind of wary of having. But you can jump right in, and then so those students that are ready to have those conversations, have been waiting to have them, are kind of ready to go. What I probably didn't like about the job, and is something students here have heard me talk about, when a student isn't ready and they come into your college classroom and you're their first time they've ever gotten a bad grade in English class, and they've been maybe squeaking by with C's, or even the student that's been getting A's and they've been getting unrealistic A's, or A's they've been earning, but the teacher hasn't been pressing them to try to develop original thinking, and they just got good at grammar and spelling and telling back to the teacher what the teacher told them they wanted. And so to like be the first person to challenge a student to think hard, and to have some students actually kind of watch them crumple and leave college, that was the hardest thing, is to have a student with unrealistic expectations of their readiness for college, then get devastated by the realities of college, and then leave college. Yeah.
Would you ever be a professor again?
For sure. I'm kind of almost in a spot where I'll be doing both. In fact, we're kind of excited. We're thinking about trying to find a way to create a college campus here on PV's campus too, which I would be qualified to teach. Whether it's here or doing some moonlighting over at Chico State or other local colleges, I'm into it. But I'm also into making high school as college ready as I can, and the ERWC, the expository reading and writing course here at PV, is the closest thing we're going to get to a college class, and I'd love to make that almost like a college class teaching experience for me and for the students. But yeah, I'd love to maybe poke back in, at least part-time someday, yeah.
What do you hope to accomplish in the entirety of your teaching career here at PV?
Just to get better at my job every year, hopefully every week. I'm still a bunch of stuff I do, even today, that I didn't like. So get better at the end and be the best version of myself I can be by that time. Help this this high school continue to build college-ready students, career-ready students. I think we're going in a great direction. There's a really good English department here, and I think as a whole school, we're way above average. But just never rest on that, and help our department, help our whole school keep moving that needle. Like, hey, yeah, we're good, but now we're this good, and just keep moving students in a way that they're like popping out of high school going to college ain't nothing. This is hopefully use better grammar than that, but it's not a big deal to go shift from Hesse's English class to my freshman English class and just have that kind of, this is not that bad, I've done research papers before, blah blah blah. So I think just be part of that conversation, be part of that improvement. Yeah.
As a college teacher, as an English teacher, what do you feel that your favorite word is?
It's not a very fancy word, but it's kind of English / human word, I guess. Gratitude is probably my best word, one of my favorite words to come to for myself, to remind myself when I'm upset with something maybe I did in class, or maybe a student is upsetting me. Be grateful that student's here. Be grateful that student is finding maybe a respectful way to be a pain in my butt that day, and or be grateful that I can go see my own mistakes in kind of a bigger context, and see that even though I'm still a teacher in process, a human in process, that I have a chance to go make it better. And then be grateful that I maybe have my health and happiness, and think about others. Gratitude lets you think about other people, and I'm all into that. Try and put yourself in other people's shoes. Yeah.
Going from that one, the opposite, what is your least favorite word?
Oh gosh, ignorance, I guess. I don't know if that's my least favorite word, because it's a good word to use to identify certain behavior, but maybe the behavior of ignorance. Somebody that's just kind of digs their heels in to dig them in. It's one thing to have strong feelings that you can support, but if they're kind of somebody that's just digging their heels in, like I said, for the sake of being stubborn and kind of not looking somewhere else in their thinking and being open to other thoughts, that bugs me. Yeah.
Is there a sound that you just absolutely love?
Yeah, when you said that, and you're picking up, it's in your cup right now, the sound of water. So just any kind of sound of a river. I'm a big river guy. Just even not fishing, just being around that kind of gurgle, and that every part of a river makes a different sound. But when I hear water slipping downstream, it just pleases me.
Just peaceful.
Peaceful, super peaceful, yeah.
Other than teaching, what would you like to pursue?
I'd like to get back into screenwriting and back into film and TV work. I chased some TV stuff for a while too, and I'd like to get into my music. It's something I used to do for a long time. I was in a band for a while, and I miss writing songs, and I was a singer for a while. I'm a horrible guitar player, but I can once in a while find a good chord progression to go with whatever melodies in my head, and I just miss being part of the creative process more. I feel like sometimes my most creative thing I do is things as a teacher, which is awesome, but I miss creating things like film pieces, TV pieces, music pieces, my own poetry, and fiction too. I miss kind of creating things. Yeah.
What career would you never want to do?
Never. Oh, I'll just pick an easy one because it's a super important career, but I would not be good at it because I'd freak out all the time. Something involving blood, because I'm not good with it. And I've got friends that are in the medical field, and I'm so grateful to them that they can watch, the inside of a human body happen and not puke or pee themselves. That would be awesome to be able to do, but I'm not one of those people, so I would
wish
not
I
be
had
good.
those skills.
Yes, it's not me.
All right, that's all the time that we got for you.
Cool.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Matt.